Somewhere over the Pacific Northwest, in heavy rain, at night, a man lowers the rear stairs of a passenger jet. A warning light activates in the cockpit. The 3 crew members up front can feel the aircraft shift. Colder air, a change in pressure. None of them can see what's happening behind them. Minutes earlier, this man calmly finished a bourbon and soda, tied a parachute to a bag holding $200,000 in cash, and asked the crew to keep flying. Low, slow, unpressurized cabin. Now at roughly 8:13 in the evening, he steps out into the storm. No one on that plane ever sees him again. No one on Earth ever sees him again. This is Northwest Orient Flight 305, November 24th, 1971. And the man who just vanished into that storm bought his ticket under a name that doesn't exist. Dan Cooper. History would remember him differently. This is case file number 005, DB Cooper. Let's rewind. Forget theories. For now, we only investigate what witnesses actually saw. Around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, a man approached the Northwest Orient counter at Portland International Airport. He paid cash for a one-way ticket to Seattle. He gave his name as Dan Cooper. Witnesses, a ticketing agent, and 2 flight attendants independently described the same man. Mid-40s, roughly 5 feet 10 inches to 6 feet 1 inch, about 170 to 180 pounds. Dark business suit, white shirt, black tie, loafers, a raincoat, black sunglasses. He carried a briefcase. He took a seat, 18C near the rear, in full view of the cabin crew. He was calm, polite. He never raised his voice. He ordered a bourbon and soda, paid for it, lit a cigarette. To everyone around him, he looked like any other business traveler on the day before Thanksgiving. That's exactly what made what happened next so effective. Exhibit A, the note. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper passed a folded note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner. Schaffner, 23 years old, assumed a businessman was making a pass at her. She slipped the note into her pocket, unread. Cooper leaned in. "Miss, you'd better look at that note," he said quietly. "I have a bomb." She opened it. In handwritten capital letters, it repeated the threat and demanded ransom. Cooper asked for the note back. He would keep it, and it would never be recovered. Exhibit B, the bomb. To prove he was serious, Cooper opened his briefcase just enough for Schaffner to see inside. She reported red cylinders, wires, what looked like a battery. Later analysis of similar devices from this era suggests they may have been road flares rather than dynamite, but nobody ever confirmed it because the briefcase itself was never recovered. Whether Cooper was carrying a real bomb has never been established. Status, unknown. Exhibit C, 4 parachutes. Cooper's demands were specific and precise in a way that mattered. $200,000 in $20 bills, a fuel truck standing by in Seattle, and 4 parachutes, 2 main, 2 reserve. Why 4? Investigators believe the answer is deliberate. If authorities suspected Cooper might force a hostage to jump alongside him, they couldn't risk sabotaging any of the parachutes. They'd have no way of knowing which one a hostage might end up wearing. It's one of the most calculated details in the entire case. Cooper wasn't improvising. He was thinking several steps ahead of the people trying to stop him. The aircraft circled Seattle for nearly 2 hours, while police and airline staff scrambled to assemble the ransom. When it finally landed, Cooper's instructions were followed to the letter. The money, roughly 10,000 $20 bills, and the 4 parachutes were delivered to the aircraft. In exchange, Cooper released all 36 passengers, along with Florence Schaffner. He kept only the pilot, co-pilot, flight engineer, and 1 remaining flight attendant, Tina Mucklow. He now controlled the aircraft completely. His instructions for the next leg were exact, and they revealed something about him. Fly toward Mexico City, stay below 10,000 feet. Keep the landing gear partially down. Flaps at 15 degrees. Cabin unpressurized. Airspeed as slow as the aircraft could safely manage. Those aren't the demands of someone guessing. Those are the demands of someone who understood exactly how this aircraft behaved and exactly what he'd need to survive stepping out of it. A pilot, military trained, a paratrooper, an aviation mechanic? We're not going to guess here. This is a clue, not a conclusion. We'll return to it later. Exhibit D, the jump. Somewhere over southwestern Washington, Cooper ordered Mucklow and the crew to the cockpit and told them to stay there. He was now alone in the cabin. At some point before he jumped, he took off his black clip-on tie and left it behind, along with a mother-of-pearl tie clip. That tie is one of the only physical objects Cooper is confirmed to have touched that the FBI still holds today. At approximately 8:13 p.m., the crew felt a distinct pressure bump, consistent with the rear air stair opening in flight. After that, nothing. When the plane landed in Reno, Cooper was gone. So was the money. So were 2 of the 4 parachutes. Time, approximately 8:13 p.m. Outcome, unknown. What followed became one of the largest manhunts in FBI history. Military and civilian search teams combed the forests of southwest Washington for weeks. Investigators reconstructed the flight path meter by meter, calculating exactly where a body falling from that altitude at that speed, in that weather, would likely have landed. They interviewed thousands of people. They investigated over 100 named suspects over the following decades. They found nothing. No body, no parachute, no briefcase, no confirmed clothing, nothing. For a man who just jumped out of a moving aircraft at night into a storm with no guarantee of survival, he'd left investigators remarkably little to work with. Exhibit E, recovered money. For 9 years, the case produced no physical evidence at all. Then on February 10th, 1980, an 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram was smoothing sand for a campfire on a stretch of the Columbia River known as Tinabar. His hand struck something buried in the sand. 3 decaying bundles of $20 bills, still held together with rotting rubber bands. The serial numbers matched the ransom exactly. Total recovered, $5,800. Here's what makes this discovery its own mystery rather than an answer. Tinabar sits nowhere near where investigators had calculated Cooper's likely landing zone. And currency thrown loose into a river doesn't typically stay bundled together as it travels. Nobody has ever fully explained how those bills got to exactly where they were found. Recovered, $5,800. Remaining, $194,200. Status unknown. Over 5 decades, the FBI has looked at more than 100 named persons of interest. We won't walk through all of them. Most collapse the moment they're actually tested against the evidence. 4 names have stayed in serious discussion longer than the rest. Richard Floyd McCoy Jr., a former Army helicopter pilot and Green Beret who carried out a strikingly similar hijacking just months later, in April 1972. Same aircraft type, same rear stairs jump. In his favor, the skill set matches almost perfectly. Against him, multiple witnesses who saw Cooper said McCoy didn't resemble him closely enough, and the FBI officially ruled him out. Kenneth Christensen, a former paratrooper who later worked for Northwest Orient Airlines itself, he would have known the aircraft intimately. In his favor, aviation and parachuting experience, insider knowledge of the 727. Against him, no direct physical evidence, and the family members who came forward with suspicions did so only after his death. Dwayne Weber. On his deathbed in 1995, Weber reportedly told his wife, "I'm Dan Cooper." In his favor, a criminal record and that startling confession. Against him, DNA testing on evidence connected to the case did not match him. Robert Rackstraw, a Vietnam veteran with military parachute training, heavily promoted in a popular 2016 History Channel documentary. In his favor, the aviation and military background fits. Against him, the FBI publicly stated the evidence used to build the case against him didn't hold up, and Rackstraw always denied it. 4 names, 4 plausible stories, 0 confirmations. We're not going to crown a winner here because the evidence doesn't support one. Anyone who tells you this case is solved is selling you a theory, not a fact. Here's what we can say with confidence. A man calling himself Dan Cooper boarded Flight 305, calmly demonstrated total control over a commercial aircraft using nothing but a note and a briefcase, extracted $200,000 in ransom, and jumped into a storm over one of the most rugged regions in the country. His instructions to the crew suggest real aviation knowledge. His choice of 4 parachutes suggests someone thinking multiple steps ahead. His clothing left behind at the scene, the tie clip, is the closest physical connection anyone has ever had to the man himself. Here's what we still don't know: whether he survived the jump, who he really was, where the remaining $194,200 went, and whether the Tina Bar money proves he died in the water or was deliberately planted to throw investigators off entirely. In July 2016, after 45 years and one of the most exhaustive investigations in its history, the FBI redirected its active resources away from the case. The evidence, including that tie, is now preserved at FBI headquarters for historical record, not active pursuit. It remains the only unsolved commercial aircraft hijacking in American history. More than 50 years have passed since a man calling himself Dan Cooper stepped onto Flight 305. We know how he boarded, we know how he took control of the aircraft, we know he jumped, but everything that happened after that moment disappeared into the night. Somewhere in the forests of Southwest Washington, or nowhere at all. The answer to this case has been sitting for more than 50 years. If you want to be there when the next case file opens, hit subscribe, because history doesn't stop hiding things, and neither will we. Until the next case, keep questioning history.